friends, welcome to this video of our series where we are discussing previous year questions of LDCE exam. In this video we will be discussing questions from paper 2 of LDCE exam for the year 21-22, which was held in October 2023. In this video we will be covering question number 86 to question number 110. The questions are mainly from two topics, which is leave rules and JFR. So let's begin this topic of previous year questions. So question number 86 says, which of the following statements regarding half pay leave is not correct? So for that we'll refer to Central Civil Service Leave Rules 1972, and it is last updated on 24th September this year. We'll go to page number 22 of this PDF. So first statement is, production of medical certificate is mandatory for availing HPL. So as per half pay leave rules under rule 29 of CCS leave rules, subpara 4 says that leave under this rule may be granted on medical certificate or on private affairs. Therefore HPL can also be granted for private affairs, for example leave not due. Hence statement 1 is wrong. Let's also check whether other statements are wrong or right. Statement B says, while affording credit of half pay leave, fraction of a day shall be rounded off to the nearest day. So yes, it is right as per subpara 5. Statement C says it can be granted on private affairs. So yes, as we saw in statement 1, it can be granted for private affairs. That is why the statement A is wrong, because it can be also granted on private affairs along with medical certificate. Statement D, the credit for half year in which a government servant is due to retire or resigns from the service shall be allowed at the rate of 5 by 3 days per completed calendar month up to the date of retirement or resignation. So for this we will refer to subpara B of para 2, and here you can read it later that this statement is also correct. Let's move on to the next question, 87. What is the maximum earned leave that can be granted at a time to a government servant who is employed in India? So here it is talking about earned leave, about a government servant employed in India, which is generally the case. So for this we'll go to page number 18, and leave rules are covered under paras 26, and if you go in that, we can see that in subpara 2 it is saying that 180 days is the maximum limit of earned leave which can be granted at one instance. So right answer is option B, 180 days. Question number 88 is on leave not due. It is saying that what is the maximum amount of L&D that can be granted on medical to government servant in permanent employment during his or her entire service. So for that we will refer to page 24. Rule 31 is on leave not due, and the very beginning it is mentioned that it is 360 days for which it can be granted on medical during the entire service. Hence statement C is the right statement. Let's move on to the question, which is question 89 on child care leave, so which is a very important topic which we have to read along with maternity leave, paternity leave. It is covered on page 39 and 40 of CCS leave rules under the heading 43C. So let's read the question. Which of the following statements is true is asked. So first statement is it can be combined with any kind of leave. So para 5 says yes, it can be combined with leave of any other kind. Yes. Statement 2 is it may not be granted for a period less than 15 days at a time. So as per para 3 sub para 4, it cannot be granted for a period less than 5 days. That's why statement 2 is wrong. Statement 3 says it shall not be granted to a single female government servant for more than 3 spells in a calendar year. So while preparing, if you will read about this statement, you will see that for a normal case it will be given for 3 spells, but when we are talking about a single female government servant, actually government should increase the number of spells due to special case. So here actually 6 spells are allowed for a single female government servant, and it is also given in para 3 sub para 2, that 6 spells are allowed. So this statement is also wrong. Statement 4 says it shall not be debited against the leave account. Yes, maternity, paternity, CCL are not debitable leaves. They come under the category of non-debitable leaves. Hence, they are not debited against any leave account. This is also covered in sub para 7 here. So only statement 1 and 4 are true. Hence, option C is the right option. Now last question on leave rules is question 19 in this video. It is talking about an employee called Mr. X working on contract basis for 5 years after his retirement from department. At superannuation, he encashed 260 days of leaves. Now on termination of his contract after 5 years, how much leaves can he encash? Now, if you have not taught this topic and if you are generally familiar with the leave encashment rules, you will think that 300 is the maximum limit, so he should be getting only 40 days of encashment. But if you see a clarification issued by DOPT via DOM dated 20th January 2019, 20th June 2019, and go through para 3 and 4, it says that the previous leaves encash will not be counted, and he or she can avail 10 days for every completed year of service. So for 5 years he can encash 50 days of leaves. Hence B is the right answer. You can refer to this DOPTOM later on for more details. Now we are moving from GFR, from leave rules to GFR rules. So to understand this topic in detail, you can open the PDF on GFR rules. So yes, now we are here in GFR rules. So it is our sincere advice to all the aspirants that whenever we are preparing for this exam, you should try to read as much as possible from the original source which is issued by the government, because it will help you in long term also, and it will also give you comprehensive knowledge of the subject. Reading from notes is a short term process. It will take time, but at the end you will be completely in control of the topic. And for topics like GFR, somewhere around 15 to 20 questions are asked every year, and the questions are very direct in nature. If you spend some considerable time once on reading these rules, you will be able to solve almost all the questions from this topic, and around 30 marks you can easily fetch from GFR every year. So let's begin with question number 91. The credentials of suppliers on GEM portal shall be certified by whom? So let's see this answer on page 34. So the credentials of suppliers on GEM shall be certified by GEM SPV. SPV is a special purpose vehicle. You can read more about this in economics. The procuring authorities will certify the reasonability of rates. So we have only been asked who will certify. So right answer is C. Question 92, as per GFR, which of the following statements regarding minor works these are correct? So there are a lot of different type of works: original work, repair work, maintenance. So if you go to rule 130, it will define all the different type of works: original works, minor work, repair work. So the definition of minor work says that minor works means work which add capital value to existing assets but do not create new assets. Therefore statement 1 is correct. Then statement 2 says minor work create new assets. No, definition says they do not create new assets. Hence statement 2 is wrong. Statement 3 says minor works are also undertaken to maintain buildings and fixtures. So this kind of work which is undertaken to maintain buildings and fixtures falls under original repair works, which is given just below this definition of minor work here. Statement 4 says minor work also include special repairs to previously abandoned buildings. So this is actually original works. By reading the statement, you will see that it is not original work, it is actually a repair work or a minor work, but no, it is an original work. So rule 130 solve this question. Right answer is option A, as only one statement is correct, which is 1. Next question is, consider the following statements regarding grant in aid. Now grant in aid is covered under rule 230. Let's see this on page 64, 65. Yes, there we have rule 230. The first statement is, all interest or other earnings against grant in aid released to any grantee institution should be mandatorily remitted to the Consolidated Fund of India immediately after finalization of the accounts. So as per rule 230 subpara 8. This statement is correct. Statement 2 says, on all cases of buildings constructed with granting date, responsibility for maintenance thereof devolves on the government. No, it is the responsibility of the granting institution to maintain the building constructed by it. So page 66 in rule 230 subpara 13 says that grant institution will be responsible for maintenance. Statement 3 says granting aid may be sanctioned to meet the bona fide expenditure incurred not earlier than 2 years prior to the date of issue of sanction. Yes, this is also correct under subpara 15 that grant should be sanctioned to meet the bona fide expenditure incurred not earlier than 2 years. So it is not a means to regularize expenditure already occurred by the way of giving grants. If some bona fide intention was involved, it should also not be more than 2 years old. So statement 3 is also. Statement 4 says the utilization certificates by the grantee organization should be submitted within 12 months of the closure of the financial year. So 12 months is the right answer. 6 months is incorrect. For this we can refer to rule 238.1 on page 70. Rule 38.1, it says that UC should be submitted within 12 months. So here only statement 1 and statement 3 are right and statement 2 and 4 are wrong, and we have been asked incorrect statements. So statement option D will be the right option. Again, moving forward, we have revenue and capital are the two divisions of which fund? So it is a very basic question. If you will see, it is given on page number 18. The consolidated fund of India is divided into these two divisions, revenue and capital. Hence A is the right answer. Moving on to question number 95. This question is on tender inquiries. Statement 1 says, in limited tender inquiry, bid should be invited at least from 3 bidders. So this question was repeated in 2023 as well, and it is handled under rule 162 on LTE. So this says that at least more than 3 bids should be there. So statement 1 is wrong. Statement 2 says, if there is absence of adequate competition, even unsolicited bids could be considered. So unsolicited bids should not be accepted as per rule 2 of LTE. Hence this statement is also incorrect. Statement 3 says bidders are not permitted to alter or modify their bids after expiry of the deadline for receipt of bids. Fair, makes sense. So again on page 45 we see that bidders should not be permitted to alter their bids. So this is covered under actually transparency rules, rule 173. So this is also right. Statement 4 says when a limited or open tender results in only one effective offer, it shall be treated as a single tender contract. So this is a tricky one. For that we'll refer to rule 21. When a limited or open tender results in only one effective offer, it shall be treated as a single tender contract. Yes. So this is also right. Hence statement 3 and 4 are the right options. We can mark answer B as the right answer. Question number 96 says, this is a question of aptitude involving some logic as well. During annual verification of books in a library having 20,000 volume of books, loss of some books was noticed, which was not attributable to dishonesty and negligence. To what maximum extent the loss of books, and it is given that each book having a value not more than 1000 and none of the books are of rare category, we do not require any regularization action. So for verification of books we have certain categories, and for every category, depending on the volume of books in a library, different set of rules govern the verification. In this case, if you see page number 54, rule 215 on verification of books, it says that loss of 5 volumes per 1000 volume of books can be taken as a reasonable provided losses are not attributable to dishonesty or negligence. So if you do basic mathematics, if 5 books are allowed for 1000 copies, then we can say that 20 into 5, that is 1000, that is 100 books can be the maximum limit up to which no need of any regularization is required. So let me just make it correct. So option B is the right answer. Question number 97 says, what is the maximum amount of bid security that can be taken for purchase of goods worth rupees 50 lakhs? So again, now some mathematics is involved here. If you refer to page 142 and 170, this is asked earlier also in 2023. We have discussed this in a previous video. Let me show you. It was asked as question number 103 in set A of year 2023 that bid security should range between 2% to 5% of the estimated value of the goods. So 2% of 50 lakh will be 1 lakh and 5% will be 2.5 lakhs. So question is asking the maximum amount of bid security. So 2.5 lakhs will be the maximum bid security that can be taken, and option C is the right option. Question number 98 says that consider the following statements regarding lapse of sanctions. So reissuance of sanctions, lapse of sanctions is a very recurring theme, and it is advisable that this theme should be prepared very well, because every year one question appears from this theme. Let's go to page 8 to discuss. Because once you have the rules handy, it is easy to read also, and it is easy to map also from which section questions are being asked every year. So let's read rule number 31, that a sanction in respect of an addition to a permanent establishment made from year to year under a general scheme by a competent authority, or in respect of an allowance sanction for a post for a class of government servants but not drawn by the officers concerned shall not lapse. So this is actually rule 31. Statement 1 is right. It is not asked in as detail as given in the JFR rules, but summarily it is right. Statement 2 says that a sanction shall not lapse if tenders for the purchase of stores have been accepted within the period of 1 year of the date of issue as sanction, but no payment has been made during the said period. So as per rule 30 subpara 3, this statement is also correct. Statement 3 says that unless specifically renewed, a sanction for any fresh charge shall lapse if no payment in whole or in part has been made during a period of 12 months from the date of issue of such sanctions. So for this we will refer to rule 30 subpara 1. This question was asked earlier also as question number 2 in 2023, and a small part of this rule was also asked in question number 17, which we will discuss in some other video. So from rule 30, one question has come in 2023, from 2 questions have appeared in same year, which is 2021 and 22. That was I was advising aspirants to prepare this topic in great detail. So all the 3 statements are correct. Right answer is option C. Let's move on to next question, which is question number 99. In the context of GFR 2017, consider the following statements regarding grant of Government of India guarantees. The Government of India has the method of option of giving guarantees in certain cases. So the question is actually asking these conditions. So let's refer to rule number 84, 85, 86 in terms of on this guarantees question. So rule 277 subpara 8 will read that government guarantees shall not be provided to the private sector. That is true. So statement 1 is totally correct. Statement 2 has two parts. The first part says guarantees shall normally be restricted to the repayment of principal and normal interest component of the loan, but in exceptional circumstances other risks shall also form part of the guarantee. So subpara 6 says, the last statement of this subpara 6 will say that other risks shall not form part of the guarantee. So the first part is correct, second part is incorrect. That makes the whole statement incorrect. Other risks will not become part of the guarantee, and statement 2 is wrong. Statement 3 says powers to grant GOI guarantees, including those on external borrowings, vest with budget division of DOEA. So for that we'll refer to rule 277(4), and it indirectly says that no guarantee shall be given without the approval of budget division DA. That means we need this division is vested with the powers to approve the guarantees. That's why statement 3 is also right. Statement 4 says that GOI guarantees will not be given in cases of grants except where the donor insists on ensuring performance. Now, earlier we discussed that these keywords like except, only, other than, not only should be read carefully, and that should not be made while marking the option. So for that we'll refer to page 86 and rule number 11. It says that Government of India guarantees will not be given in cases of grants. However, if the donor insists on ensuring performance, the same may be listed as a negotiating condition for getting the grant. So it is not a condition for giving guarantee. It is a condition which can be added as a negotiating factor to give a grant to an organization, that the organization is ready to give a guarantee for performance. Hence statement 4 is also incorrect. So the right answer is 1 and 3 only, option D. Let's move on to question number 100. Question number 100 says that surplus, obsolete, unserviceable goods with the assessed residual value more than rupees 2 lakh shall be disposed of by. Now, I think this limit has been increased to rupees 4 lakhs in the new GFR rules, as a lot of limits have been doubled, especially rule 155, 166, 156. So for that we'll go to page 54. And rule number 218 on mode of disposal says that yes, it is 4 lakhs. So there are two options, two methods actually to dispose of the goods. One is by obtaining bids through advertised tender. So yes, statement 3 is correct. Then statement 2 is also correct, because in subpara B it is written that public auction is also one of the methods to dispose of the obsolete goods. So statement 2 is also correct. Statement 1 says that any mode as may be determined by the competent authority. So there is no such power vested with the competent authority to choose a mode of disposal in this case. Hence statement 1 is incorrect. So the right option is 2 and 3 only, that is option B. I hope you are enjoying and finding this video series very informative. So if you want us to make more such videos, you can subscribe and you can join our Telegram channel. The link is given in description. You can also turn on the notifications, so whenever we get a new video, you will be updated on that. We will be constantly posting such informative videos, and we'll try to cover as many previous year questions as possible with respect to as well LDCE exam. So let's move on to the new next question, which is 101. The decision to grant exemption from the mandatory e-publishing requirement where confidentiality is required for reasons of national security is to be approved by. So it is a question on e-publishing. E-publishing is also a very recurring theme. So for that we'll go to page 37. Rule number 159 deals with e-publishing, and subpara 2 says that individual cases where confidentiality is required for the reasons of national security. That can be exempted from the requirement of e-publishing, and the decision has to be approved by Secretary of the Ministry Department with the concurrence of FD. So that makes option D as the right answer. Next question is question number 102. In the context of GFR, consider the following statements regarding principles to be observed while entering into contracts. Again, a very important topic which has been repeatedly asked by UPSC, contract management, and these are the actually areas where a government servant has to work. So UPSC is testing government servants' knowledge on these specific areas. We are seeing that government is promoting transparency, competition, and bidding route is often taken. So one should have the knowledge of bidding and how contracts are made, routine, terms and conditions which should be part of contract. All these should be there in the contract, and a government servant is expected to have a good knowledge of these terms and conditions. So statement 1 says contract document where necessary should be executed within 30 days of the issuance of letter of acceptance. So as per rule 159, which deals with contract management, rule 225 says that contract document where necessary should be executed within 21 days of issuance of letter of acceptance. So it is not 2 days, it is actually 21 days. So the statement 1 is wrong. Statement 2 says price variation clause can be provided only in long-term contracts where the delivery period extends beyond 15 months. So let's see what is the correct period for this price variation clause. It says that period should be beyond 18 months. So long-term contracts whose delivery period is more than 18 months, there we can actually keep this price variation clause, not for 15 months. So statement 2 is also wrong. Statement 3 says that no claim for payment from the contractor shall be entertained after the lapse of 3 years of raising of the claim actually. So for this we'll refer to page 61, in which rule 25 subpara 19, here it is saying that yes, no claim for payment from contractor shall be entertained after the lapse of 3 years of arising of the claim. So it's not that a contractor can come in future and say that my bill is pending, my money is due. There's a limit of 3 years after which it will not be entertained. So these should be part of contracts to avoid hassles in delivery of work, and it also saves the manpower and legal hurdles in future. Statement 4 says that contract should have a provision for payment of all applicable taxes by the contractor or supplier. Yes, this is also very important because taxes, who will pay the taxes, and taxes rates also change every budget year, so that rate change has to be borne by the supplier. So that can be negotiated on, that if there can be a threshold that if the increase is within the range of 5%, then supplier will bear, and if it is in more than 5% or 10%, what will be the course of action, like it will be shared or contract will be renegotiated. So page 60, it is written that contracts should include provision for payment of all applicable taxes by the contractor or supplier. Hence statement 4 is also right. So the right answer is 3 and 4 only, B. Next question 103. A doubt in the interpretation of the provisions of GFR rules is required to be referred to which one of the following authorities for decision? So this is asking a very basic question, that when there is a doubt on these rules and their interpretation, who will be the authority to give the clarification? We can't do pseudo suo motu of clarification and proceed. So in case of doubts, under Rule 5, matter will be referred to Ministry of Finance for their decision. Hence, Ministry of Finance is the competent authority to give the interpretation of any rule for which there is any confusion and a clarification is required. Next question. Now we are having a question from DFPR. Transactions in government accounts are classified into following heads. So when we are booking some expenditure, it's a long number. We'll discuss more about it when we are discussing GFR rules. I'll make a separate video on GFR DFPR where we'll discuss each and every rule in detail. So the object head is the head. Suppose salaries, wages, OTA, medical, these are the object heads, and they fall under a major head, which is loan or grant or like that. So for that, this classification is mapped, that what does major head actually mean, what does minor head actually mean. So what is the actual mapping is asked in this question. So if you'll refer to Rule 8 of DFPR, you will get the right answer. I'm not opening the PDF here to save some time. So actually major head correlates with the functions. Minor head is related to the program. Suppose ITech program, technical and economic operation. Subhead can be a scheme like scholarship scheme. Subhead can be a detailed head, can be a sub scheme, and object head can be economic nature of expenditure. So maybe booking of air tickets or scholarship or hotel accommodation like that. So option C is the right option. And question 105 again on DFPR. Which of the following authority is vested with the powers to open a new head of account? So it's not a very small thing which is being discussed here. To open a new head of account, it's a big decision and it's taken by Ministry of Finance on the advice of CAG. So for that you can refer to Rule 8.4 of DFPR, and also, and if you read the Article 115 in detail of the Indian Constitution, you will see that the CAG rules also has some information on this aspect, that Ministry of Finance on the advice of Controller and Auditor General of India are vested with the powers to open a new head of account, because such a change will impact all the government bodies, ministries, departments, attached subordinate offices, and the type and the method the booking of expenditure is made, the accounts is made. So everything will change. That's why CAG is also involved from the purpose of giving out, because the CAG is the sole authority who decides that the format in which the accounts has to be presented. So if you don't involve CAG while opening a new account, head of account, it will not make sense. So question number 106 says that no claim for the payment from contractor shall be entertained after a lapse of how many years. So just now we discussed this contract management. I was telling you that it is a very key theme, and we discussed in one of the statements that 3 years is the minimum period. This is the maximum period for the contractor or supplier to raise the claim or ask for the reimbursement from the date of arising of the claim. Question number 107. An advance payment to a government pleader in connection with lawsuits to which the government is a party may be made up to maximum limit of how much rupees. So for that, if we refer to Rule 234, it says Rule 224 reads that up to 25,000 rupees at a time can be given as advance, and this will be adjusted at the time of settlement of council's fee bills. So B is the right answer. Question number 108. Which of the following items can be categorized under the head capital receipts? So actually, if you read economics, this is dealt there better, but GFR also has some information on this aspect in its appendix 2, where subcomponents of these revenue receipts and capital receipts are given. So So internal debt is also part of capital receipts, so statement 1 is right. Central taxes, duties and cess is administered by Central Board of Directors. It is not a capital receipt, it is actual a revenue receipt, so option B is wrong. Statement 3, disinvestment receipt, yes, it is right. Statement 4, repayment of loans, yes, it is also right. So 1, 3 and 4 are the right options and answer is C. Now we are moving on to the second last question of this video. What is the period of validity of performance security beyond which the date of completion of all contractual obligations? So now I give you a question that what is the difference between performance security and bid security? If you know the right answer, you can post in the comment box and we will evaluate our answer and give our comments on that. So let's see the right answer in this case. Let's refer to rule 171. Sorry, you have to go on page 43, rule 171, and in subpara 2 it is given that performance security should remain valid for a period of 60 days beyond the date of completion of all contractual obligations of the supplier, including warranty obligations. So it is saying including completion of warranty obligations, 60 days is the period. So option D is the right answer. Now question 110 is not actually from GFR, it is also a question of aptitude, because in contract management, if something beyond the control of both the parties happens, which can be said as an extraordinary event or unforeseeable event, then what will happen in this case? Who has the liability to fulfill the obligations in the contract? So for that, a clause on force majeure is included in the contract. The question reads that FM clause is normally incorporated in a contract for supply of goods and services which, when invoked, frees both the parties from the contractual liability or obligation. Now, which of the following are those extraordinary events or circumstances for which a party can invoke force majeure clause? So force majeure clause can be definitely not invoked in the case of seasonal rain. This is not an extraordinary event. It is not also unforeseeable. If you know that monsoon is coming, rain will happen in this season, and you can prepare in accordingly. So we can eliminate option 3 safely. So this leaves us with only two options, which is A and B. Now in A and B also 1 and 2 are common options. It is war and riots. What is left is with strike. Now strike is also something which may be due to internal or external reasons, like the labor or the workers in a factory are opposing some government legislation, or they are opposing some new policy change made by the factory owner or the management. So this is also cannot be predicted. It can be politically motivated. It can be to retaliation to some of the decisions taken by the government or by the local government or legislature. So statement 4 can also be said to be a extraordinary event, hence right option will be B, 1, 2 and 4. So friends, this brings us to the end of this video. We'll continue making videos on other questions in this question paper. Till then, stay tuned, and if you like our videos, do press the like button and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much. Bye.